All right, John 13. I've never preached here before without the preacher sitting behind me. And that kind of makes me nervous. And, when I first started preaching, when I first got saved, I noticed some preachers would sit behind the guy preaching. I always wondered why. And then I started hearing some preachers, and I thought, oh, that's why they sit back there. So I'm thinking, oh, Tim's not sitting behind me today. And Jacob's not here either. So I can kind of say whatever I want. You say, but Parker's here. That might make it worse. 20 or under, who knows what ever hear of jujubes? Tonight, young people, I'm going to show you jujubes in the Bible. All right, before we start, let's pray. Father, thank you for your word this morning. Pray you'd bless Brother Tim and Jacob and the families and as they get rest. And Lord, just help us here this morning. Use your word to encourage and challenge our hearts. And we'll thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. John 13, you're there. As a young man in the Bible Institute many, many decades ago, we were taught that God gave 3 different sources of revelation, revealing himself, to all men concerning himself. The first and second of those were what we call general revelation, and the third was specific revelation. We won't turn to the passages. You're very familiar with them, but God reveals himself through creation. Through creation, Psalm 19 says, the heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech. It speaks, man. That creation, not to be a climate person or anything, but that creation speaks. Day unto day uttereth speech. Night unto night showeth knowledge. There's no language where that voice is not heard. Every language hears the voice of creation. Romans 1 says, listen, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. Who? Everybody. Everybody. Watch. Being understood by the things that are made, that's creation, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they, who? Everybody, are without excuse. So God reveals himself through creation to creation before they've ever opened a Bible. Number 2, God reveals himself, that's the Romans 1. Romans 2, through the conscience. Through the conscience. He reveals his law. Listen, which show the work of the law written in their hearts. Their conscience also bearing witness. Talk about a witness. The conscience bears witness, accusing and excusing. Who's the conscience do that to? Everybody. Everybody. In that passage, the conscience passage ends with this. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ, and they haven't even opened a Bible yet. So creation, conscience, they know God through they know the Godhead through creation of him. They know the law through conscience. And then the third, and I know I'm in a place that the preacher alliterates all the time, so I had to come up with a C, the canon of Scripture. That's the specific revelation. God's 3 revelations to all men, 2 of them outside of the Bible. But is there another? Is there an additional revelation of God outside the Bible that parallels with the creation and the conscience? John chapter 13, verse 34. Listen close to how familiar it sounds. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Now watch this. By this shall all, lost and saved, men know that ye are my disciples, big F here, if ye have love one to another. Sound familiar? So creation reveals the Godhead, the power of God, the glory of God to all men without the Bible. Conscience reveals the law of God written in their hearts to all men without the Bible. And I see here that love between believers, according to Jesus Christ, reveals his love To who? All men. How? By witnessing our love one for another without them ever opening the Bible. How so? Because if we love one another the way he loved us, and I know we're Baptist, this is a Baptist church, right? And you're thinking, he ain't preaching on love, is he? Oh, isn't he kind of? I think God is love. But I'll get hard before it's over, so just hang in there. If we love one another the way he loved, unconditionally, loving our enemies, the fruit of the Spirit is love. That's a love that's out of this world that they're not going to get in this world. And if we do so, according to him, they can see firsthand an element of God's love on earth with their eyes, the way they see creation and the way they sense the conscience. Talk about sinner's advantage. How many revelations does God have to give for people to come to him? You know, it says, by grace are you saved through faith. And what's faith? It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Yet when you consider creation, and you consider the conscience, and you consider love between brethren, he sure does give lost people a lot of things that they can see. Talk about if you're here and you're not saved and you go to hell, it won't be God's fault. All you need is a little mustard seed of faith. So he says a new commandment. Right, Andy. What's the old commandment? The old commandment is referring to love your neighbor as yourself. But unlike this new one that he says in John 13, there's no result of it. This one has a result. Back there, it was just another law added. Love that miserable neighbor of yours. Stop. Over here, because if you do, all men will know that you're talking about me. So the love bar in the New Testament is raised. One way, it's as I have loved you. They didn't have that back there. And the second one is it comes with a result, that all men might know. Now, I went to public school. In kindergarten, we had show and tell. You'd bring a little truck in there, and you'd show the truck, and you'd tell about the truck. I got this for Christmas. This is a Tonka truck, yada, yada, yada. You didn't just tell. You show and tell. And so why? You know what I think God's plan is? He shows the general revelation, creation, conscience, love between brethren, which opens the door for us to tell. Ye are our epistles, written in our hearts, again, known and read of all men. Why? That all men might know him. That's what he's about. And I can't think of a better place for this love to start than in the home. In the home. In the Christian home. He said, well, gee, when Jesus said that, I never thought to apply it to the home. Well, you're brethren, aren't you? I mean, if you're saved, if the husband and the wife are saved, what better place to start? If the kids are saved, what a great place to practice the love of God in the home. And think about this. If God's goal of 34, your love one for another, results in 35 that all men might know, in your sphere of influence, where you work, where you go to school, what are those people, those lost people, more likely to observe or hear about up close in your life? Your love for Brother Edgar or Sister Eleanor down at the church, or your love for that spouse and those kids? I submit there's something to this that's going to help us to reach a lost world. I don't know about how it is down in the Southland, but in the Northland, we need all the help we can get. Christ's love in our homes is as unique as the Bible itself, and that affords a great opportunity for us to give the lost another witness. And by the way, I don't know if there's any Edgars or Eleanors here. I'm not picking on you. I try to pick names that are kind of unique. I didn't say weird in case that's your name. How are you going to love grumpy Edgar and critical Eleanor down at the church when you can't love those ones inside your own home. And listen, John 13:34-35 applied in the home is a win-win all the way around. It's a win-win for God because it gives sinners an added advantage, increasing the odds. If they, there's more love than the love in this stinking world. And that increases their odds to come to Him. That you can show something before you tell something, and He's all about people coming to Him. Brother Folk, some of you know him. He led me to Christ. And I'll tell you, I don't just preach this message. This is how I came to Christ. I was newly married, and we were just starting out, and I met a guy that I couldn't believe I met a Christian. He hunted, he fished, and he thought he was cool. He wasn't as cool as me, but when he started telling me, he used to be cool, and he showed me he's a bald guy, and he had this big afro before he got saved, and he drove a GTO. I drove a Lincoln Italian. You know, he was an American kid. But I'll tell you what, man, he went to his house. Hey, man, I want you to meet my family. And his kids came running to Daddy's home. His wife got the foo-foo on. And I'm like, what is this all about? I want his God to be my God and his people to be my people. That's what I wanted. So, you burdened for souls? I got a new outreach ministry for the church. Love that spouse the way he loved us. So it's a win-win for God. It's a win-win in the home for the couple. When someone on earth that you live with, that you can see and hear and touch and feel, is loving you like Christ, talk about a home being a sanctuary. It's a win-win for God. It's a win-win for the couple. It's a win-win for the children. Because, scary to say, when they're little, Mom and Dad are as close to God as they're ever going to see. As an example, you're like God. You remember, Dad can whoop anybody. Dad knows everything. Dad's all. It's all they can see. And if we can get this, they're going to have a sampling of His love right in the home. They're not going to get it on social media. They're going to get lust. They're not going to get it at the public school. But in that home, Mom and Dad, heirs together of the grace of life, they love one another. There's going to be a better chance showing without telling. See, a lot of us parents, we tell but we don't show. And I'll tell you what, that's a recipe for destruction. And in our day, with broken homes and headless homes and dysfunctional homes and chaotic homes and loveless homes and godless homes, and nobody reading the Bible, this world needs every witness they can get. And so that affords a great opportunity for us. And it's fun. It's fun while you're doing it. So you say, preacher, all right, I see it, but how? How can I possibly love her the way Christ loved me? That's the same question she's asking. How can I possibly submit to Him with those dirty socks the way I submit to Him? I'm glad you asked. Ephesians 5. Now, these are familiar passages. You say, you doing a little family? Yeah, yep. Family. Familia. Ephesians 5. Now, I want you to remember John. He said, by this shall all men know you're my disciples, by your love one for another. Now, we're going to give you another witness here. Watch, 5:25. Notice the similarity. Husbands, love your wives. Now, watch this tied to John 13. Even as Christ also loved the church and gave Himself for it. Same words. Yeah, but how? I got to know how. And that's what I like about the Lord. He doesn't just give you something. He gives the recipe. He gives the help. He gives the formula. So, watch 25b. There it is. How? And gave Himself for it. If you are going to love her the way He loved you, to manifest His love to a lost world, that's His desire, you got to give to her. He said, well, how did you love us, Lord? He gave. Oh, God so loved the world that He gave. And this is where most men, we kind of puff up and say, Well, down here they go, yeah, I bring home the bacon, preacher. I got that one covered. I mean, I give to her. And that would be okay. And that's important. And you could say you had it covered if after salvation, all he ever gave you was a paycheck. Well, what do I got to give to her? He tells you, watch. Verse 25. What did he give? Himself. You got to give you. Well, I give. Oh, yeah, preacher. I'm no greater love hath any man he lay down his life for his friend. I'd take a bullet for her. In fact, you got to see my arsenal. That's good, but if his dying for us, listen, his dying for us was just the beginning of his giving himself for us. I want to talk about a few ways he continues that we might get help to be a better witness and win-win all the way around. How he gives himself continuing after salvation so we can start applying it in our homes. I'm going to give you the verse, Psalm 68:11. The Lord gave the Word. Now, you know when he came, he was the personified Word. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. That's before salvation, before the cross. And then after the cross, he inspires and preserves his written Word. The personified Word, Jesus Christ, full of the Word, gives his inspired, preserved, written Word. Talk about a love letter. Now, you go to Ephesians 5. If you're not there, I'm not. Ephesians 5. Now watch the parallel between him giving himself and the love between the husband and wife. Him and his church is stuck right in the middle. Watch, Ephesians 5, verse 25. Watch. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church, gave himself for it. And all of a sudden he puts this in there, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. That's what his words do. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Watch. So ought men to love their wives as their own body. He's tying it back to the Word. Now listen, I'm a practical preacher, so I'm going to give it to you waist high, right across the plate, where you can get it. One of the greatest ways you can love her the way he loved us really has nothing to do with her. Number one, it's to prioritize these pages in your life. That's how you start, by giving yourself to her. Now, I'm not as spiritual as some of my friends with that verse about cleansing by the washing of water. I have friends that just stand over their wife and read the Bible so that the holy words will cleanse her. But guys, she knows if you pick it up Sunday morning where you dropped it off Wednesday night untouched. And you wonder why she doubts and questions your wisdom in decision making. The entrance of thy word giveth light, it giveth understanding to the simple. Now she knows you're simple. And you couple that with no daily light, it's no wonder it's hard for them to submit to us the way they submit to the light. The best thing you can do to stabilize her and secure her is prioritize these pages, and she's kind of maybe gotten knowing everything's going to be all right. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And by default, when you walk down that aisle, she had to get on your path. And you know what? A path without the word is a path without light, and it gets dark. And most women don't like the dark. I'm all man, but I don't like the dark either, man. Go out hunting in the morning, it's dark. I like getting up in that tree, man. I don't know what I'm hearing out there. But you don't prioritize these pages, and you're not getting that light, and you wonder why she's always trying to enlighten you on stuff. The Word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than a two-edged sword, piercing even the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and the joints and matter, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And you wonder why she questions our discernment. I know I've said this before, but I heard this years ago. The southern women and the northern women are still women. Really deep down inside, they want to run the show. And really deep down inside, they think us guys ain't really got it together. And most of the time, they're right. But the way the southern women say it is, Bill, I question the wisdom of that decision. The way the Yankee women do it, they say, what are you, goofy? You know, when they know you're prioritizing these pages, there's a confidence in them to know that that's piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and maybe you'd get less barbs if she knew God was doing it and thinking she didn't have to do it. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. And you don't get that in there, and you wonder why she gets jealous or suspicious. How are we going to heed? Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according. How are we going to heed when we don't read? Well, she needs to submit. It's going to be way easier for her to submit to you like she does to him when we, number one, prioritize the pages. Why? Because he's easy to submit to. And the more we get this, the more we get a him, the more we get a him, the easier it is to submit. Number two, I'm practical. By passing on the plan. Church, you know why in this sin-sick sewer of a world we can be calm in the storm, we can be cool in the fiery furnace, we can be confident in the lion's den? We know the plan. And again, I'm probably too practical, but don't leave her hanging to wonder what, where, when, and how with the daily plans of life. I'm going to start a verse. I want you to fill it in. You all know it. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make an help meet for him. Listen, all over life, the best helper is the helper that knows the plan. You hire a helper. Some of you guys are in business. You got your bosses. You hire a helper at work. The helper needs to know the plan of what and where and when and how to be a good helper. And any helper who doesn't get that from the head is going to be frustrated and uncertain and unproductive and unfulfilled and eventually bitter towards the head, and that's going to be bad for business. It's going to bring conflict. And I'm going to tell you why most Christians don't pass on the plan, because most of them don't have a plan. We just kind of wing it. And that goes back to point number one in prioritizing the pages. He said, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct thy path. He said, the paths of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And I know that we know how to pass on the plan. You know why I know that? Because the hunting gang knows the plan. Ooh, that got quiet. They know what, where, when, and how. Your tree stand on opening day could set its watch by what time and when and how. The work crew knows the plan. The ministry team knows the plan. The in-home tailgate, I was going to say Bills, but I know where I am, party knows, what do you want me to bring? Where are we going to meet? When are we going to start? And how's it going to all go down? But unfortunately, I've seen it 4 decades in the thing, all too often, the helper at home is left to hang trying to figure out the plan. And the genius in us says, well, I got to work. Can't she figure it out? She's a helper. We wonder why they get uptight. It says, husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. How do I start? How about giving her the plan? This is what we got. I'm probably too much on it. You know, I'm a little bit of a micromanager husband. Some of you women would love me. But just, how are we going to do it? This is what we got going. This is what time we're going to leave. And little stuff like that. It's like she knows in the midst of the chaos, everything is going to be all right. And the reason I mention the hunting gang and the guys' day, it isn't to pick on the guys. It's to just pass on. We know how to pass on a plan of the particulars. We're talking about loving her the way Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Number one, you don't have to even bother. It's prioritizing the pages. Number two, it's a simple thing. Just pass on the plan. Now, ladies, I don't have this in the notes, and I'm getting to you. It's going to be way out of balance with the men, but I watch a lot of smoking, not this kind, the meat. Videos. And these experts, they'll say, how do they say it? Expert tip. Don't put the probe in this way, put it there. Expert tip. If every time he passes on the plan, you say, I question the wisdom of that decision, after a while, he's not going to pass on the plan. That's an expert tip. You can take it or leave it. Okay. Prioritizing his pages, passing on the plan, like he does for the bride. Number three, you notice I'm doing all this alliteration because I don't want you to travel too far from Pastor Fallour here. Providing his presence, 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Two Cor 4:7. I'm talking about how he gave himself for us after the cross. Verse 7, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power of God, that the power may be of God and not of us. You know what he gave us? He gave us his presence. He gave us his person. He'll be with you and in you. And watch what the result of that is, the way he gave himself, all of himself, to his bride after the cross. Watch the result in our context. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted. Doesn't that sound like a woman with about 3 kids running around? You know what makes the bride say everything's going to be all right? Knowing that he said to us, look, even though you can't see me, I'm with you. Lo, I'm with you always, even when I'm not there. My thoughts to you are innumerable. You know what he names himself when he says, okay, guys, I got to go, but I'm going to send the Comforter. You know what his presence does? It comforts us. Again, practical application. Even though you're not physically present, even though we're not physically present, she's up to date on the plan of where and what and when and how. So it's almost as if even though you're not there, you are there. You're yoked up even when you're apart, just like we are with the physical presence of Jesus Christ. So when she's troubled on every side, and the kids are screaming, and the sink's backed up, and the dog boboed on the rug again, she knows that even though you're not there, you care. She knows she's on your mind. And that eventually everything's going to be all right, I did that again. When I slammed the pulpit, have you fallen? Do you want us to call 911? No. Yeah, they had the cops down at that Victory Baptist again. I got to stop wearing this thing when I... Which brings us to the next point of the presence. Have you ever considered the pretext to the context of the promised plan of the second coming physical presence of Jesus Christ? I'll give you one. Let not your heart be troubled. And you know what he ends up saying? Because where I am, we're going to be together physically. Let that comfort you. The head, the groom in the physical presence of the bride, the head in the physical presence of the helper. I mean, spiritual presence is nice. I'll be with you in spirit, honey. How about you come home once in a while? Now, ladies, let me give you a pro tip. That's what it is. Let me give you a pro tip. Especially if he's a high roller, he's a businessman, and there's seasonal pressures and things like that. If he knows that you ought to let her know the plan, guys. I'm going to be late. Yeah, and if he gets it, if you give it to him, every time I'm going to be late. Oh, I got this. I got that. And then he gets home and he's going to get it again. After a while, he's not stupid. He's going to just take one whipping. So he'll wait till he gets home and he won't even tell you that he's going to be late. Are we getting too practical? Is this okay? Can we do practical? So if you sometimes you just got to grin and bear it. Okay. But listen, the idea is the physical presence is nice, but when you coming home, ye who are troubled, rest with us. He's coming back physically. Sounds like the groom is planning a date with the bride. And what's that do? It helps when she's troubled. That knowing soon he's coming home and we're going to be together. And that's what the bride longs for. And you know why men sometimes have a problem with physical presence after they say I do, except for bedtime? Because we are conquerors by design. We are hunters by design. And truth be told, before marriage, us men, we was on the hunt for you. It was like opening day of buck season, but on steroids. I mean, he was listening to you. He was calling you in. Your physical presence with her was priority one. His friends, what friends? I want that dough. And if you couldn't be there, you were thinking you couldn't wait. But all too often, man, when they say I do, and we win them, we move on to the next conquest. That might be a hobby. A lot of times it's a job. Sometimes it's a hunt. Sometimes it's a ministry. Sometimes it's a secretary. It's usually something we're good at, and we're good at conquering and hunting, but he didn't just say to dress the garden. He said dress the garden and keep the garden. I'm thinking of that verse over in, is it Psalm? These other gardens, but I've not kept my own garden. And that's why most men aren't good at husbanding, because we don't spend enough time at it. Before marriage, babe, what? After marriage, babe, what? Before marriage, after 2 years, what does she want now? Doesn't she know I'm busy trying to, what, conquer the next mountain? Well, preacher, I spend time. Yeah, but are we all there? And this is tough. It's tough for me because my wife is in here this morning. I can't really preach, because she can. I know your pastor preaches real short, but I'm a little bit longer. Give me some grace. It hurts. I'm a proud Italian, and she's in here. I don't listen. I listen when it's time to do it. And I can multitask, but to me, the fact that her mother's coming over in 2 weeks because she's got a hangnail on her toe, I'm trying to conquer the world here. So Brother Tim, your preacher, calls me a couple months ago now, and he says, listen, I'm going to be out of town. I'd like you to come in to preach. Okay, when is it? I look at the date. Now, we got 27 grandkids. And I'll get to that part when I get to the women. And so I text her. I got him. I said, I'll get you right back to you. I text her. I want to get this done. It's on the plate. I want to get it and move it off the plate. Are we doing anything? Because the calendar's full, and she'll sit there. Okay, I'm going to babysit Jenna's kids in October, and I'm going to Anna's kids, and then Cola's having the twins in January. Okay. And I said, do we have anything on whatever this date is, the 4th, 5th weekend? Crickets. She didn't get back to me in 30 seconds. So I go ahead and I can't take a chance. Let me get these tickets. I get the tickets. And 5 minutes later, like an eternity, she texted me and said, yeah, that's the week I'm at Anna's, babysitting their kids because they're going on vacation. Of course, I get the cheap tickets that you can't even blink without charging double, I says, I could have been with you the whole week. She goes, you couldn't wait 5 minutes? You're preaching to me. You know what the psalmist said? Give ear, O Lord. And I don't know if you've thought of this context or not, guys, of our spouses, but he that hath ears, let him hear. You got to listen when you are there. Aren't you glad with all God's got going, all the crucial, important things he has on his plate, he doesn't only hear, but he listens. And again, we know we could do it because we listened. We met when we were 13, me and her. 13. Man, I couldn't wait. Now, we weren't saved, so don't judge us, but man, she had that long. I didn't know it was a glory back then, but it did something to me. Look at that girl. I can't wait to be with her. And then it's like you get old and you got 27 grandkids and it's Poppy and it's Nani and it's, where are you going? I'm going, I'll get to that point at the end. Okay, prioritize the page. How am I going to give to her? How am I going to love her? I'm going to prioritize these pages. That's number one. I'm going to pass on the plans. I'm going to prioritize my presence with her. What do I get? When's he going to get to the girls? Glad you asked. Ephesians 5, because here's the point. You manifesting his love for her this way. Watch. Ephesians 5. Watch verse. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. Now, this is it, guys. If nothing else has motivated you, if God doesn't motivate you, if she doesn't motivate you, I got a great motivation. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Doesn't God have her number? I mean, what's a better motivation than me? When I love her, he says, I'm loving me. And so he continues to give the pages and the plan and the presence in his ears. Why does God do that? That he might present the church to himself. When we love her the way he loved us, we win. That's what he says. When the bride is bettered by the groom is benefited too. Well, I just feel like I need to do something for myself. Love her like he did. How about prioritize the pages and pass on the plan and be concerned with your presence? You'll reap the benefits. And in addition, back to John 13, you'll paint a picture that will reveal the love of God to sinners that's out of this world. Heirs together of the grace of life before they ever open a Bible. And the men are saying, why are you beating us up so bad? This is not like a family conference. We're supposed to pay $350 and go to Destin for something like that. I'm giving it to you for free. Because I know some of you would say, we don't need that. And I was going to save this to the end, but I didn't think of it till I was sitting here. So I'm going to say it now because I know we got singles in here. Well, if you ever plan on getting married, you don't have to make the mistakes because you heard it. And I know we got old people like me. Preacher, I've been married 41 years. We met when we were 13. We got 27 grandkids. And so it's like, I remember I have a place in Florida. I am in Florida, but I got this little trailer down that my in-laws had for a bunch of years, and they could no longer take it. So they gave us the family discount. But there was a guy next door by the name of Irv. He was 90 years old. He played tennis, and I thought he was a widower. And one day he's talking, saying, he was from Vermont. Yeah, my wife, I said, your wife? I said, you married? Yeah. I said, where's your wife? Up in Vermont. I said, does she come down here? Yeah. How long? 2 weeks. I said, you're down here all winter and she's only here for 2 weeks? He goes, yeah. And here's what he told me. And I'm telling you, this grandparent, I had a big vision for my family. I mean, I was probably too intense, but man, we're going to serve God and you guys are going to sing and you're going to learn how to play instruments and all that. We never thought about this where we're at now, because it gets even gooder. But here's what this old Irv said. He said, yeah, when you retire, the women chase the grandchildren because that's their reward. They bore all them children. Now they're kind of just getting to... And the guys, I love my 27 grandchildren, but I want to relax. I don't want to go chasing I got them in Texas. I got them in Charleston. I got them in Ohio. I got them in Florida. So here's my message. You know what the best thing we could do for those 27 kids? Nani and Poppy, that they can witness that we're heirs of the grace of life. Like we were loving each other when we were 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Didn't get married till we were 24. Don't lose the fire just because you're old. I know there's physical limitations sometimes. I'm telling you, this is for everybody. Our young marrieds need a picture of Christ in the church. Well, they're already saved. Don't they know the picture? They need the stability. Okay. Men says, why are you beating us up? When are you going to get to the wives? Here's why it's seemingly out of balance. Man says, I'm the head. It's right in the Bible. I've gone through a lot of physical issues in my body in the last 3 years, a lot of them in my head. The human body proves that a lot can be out of whack with the body, and the rest of the body still function. But if the head's messed up, the body doesn't have a chance. That's why it's more on you guys. The body of Christ proves that parts of the body can be out of tune with the head. But if the head goes bad, which he won't, thank God, the body doesn't have a chance. Husbands, when you love her like he loves you, prioritizing the pages and the plan and the present, it's a win-win. Now, ladies, pretty simple for you. You're not married to my husband, and you ain't married to me. If you want the full story, go see her back there. When the human body submits to the head, the body benefits too. I get up in the night. Head says, grab your toe. Oh, that's better. Infection comes in. Head says, send antibodies. Oh, I'm healed. Submitting to the head, the body benefits. When we, Christ's body, submit to our head, we, Christ's body, benefit, do we not? Right. And the same goes for our marriages. You see why it's a win-win all the way around? I want in on that win. I want my kids to see that win. I want my grandkids to see that win. And praise the Lord, I want the lost to see that win. Where does it start? Right there. What an opportunity. Now here's what's cool about these revelations. Creation, that revelation goes out, it speaks to all men everywhere, independent of us. Doesn't matter what we do, that's going out. Conscience, where's that? It's in every man. It's independent of us, doesn't matter what we do. But this one, we have an option. This one, we have an opportunity to get in along with the witness of creation and conscience. How's that for the trio? I want to be part of that win. Heirs together of the grace of life, giving ourselves. And Christ wins, and the couple wins, and the children win, and the church wins. And maybe just by the grace of God in this world that knows not love. You say, well, they ought to get the love of God from the Bible. They don't read the Bible. You are the only Bible they will ever read. Here's a practical prayer. You know, we sing the song, Revive Us Again. I don't want to embarrass you, honey, but we're going to pray. Me and you at this, we're going to come down here and pray. And you know what we're going to pray? We're going to pray, revive us again. You say, you got trouble? No. But I'm not happy with. You got 27 grandkids. Yous are old. Revive us again. That my people and my children and my grandchildren and those that are in my sphere of influence might rejoice in thee. Because why? The fourth revelation, that they see the love of Christ.